I could bore you with statistics about how diverse companies perform better than non-diverse companies. But there is a commercial reason for it as well. And the basis of it is, if you have people who can be the person they want to be, they'll perform better. If you have diverse teams as a management team, you have a better performing team. So there's a strong business case there as well.
What I want to do is actually make three key points. Firstly, prepare for growth. You're going to see more and more trans people in the course of your business lives and your home lives. Secondly, respect diversity, because within this population there are many different needs. And thirdly, this group does need substantial improvement in services, not only by employers, but also by particularly health providers. 1 in 100 people experience a significant degree of gender variance, and that's figures that we and the HRC have prepared as the basis for that. 650,000 in the UK. Do you see them?
We've finally come to terms with the fact that there are people who were assigned male at birth who identify as women and vice versa, but now we're seeing, particularly amongst younger people, a rapid growth of people who just refuse to fit into either box. I'm also going to talk about one of the myths, and that is the lifestyle choice myth. Not so many years ago, 84% of doctors said public money should not be spent on lifestyle choices, and they were referring to gender dysphoria. This is not a lifestyle choice. Nobody chooses to be trans. They just are. Suicide rates are very high, and suicide attempts run at 34% as against sort of 1.6 in the population. And all of us who work in this field know personally people who have died. The important thing, I think, also is for people to understand that trans people can be anybody and anything and anywhere. These are doctors, lawyers, athletes, singers, students, academics, entrepreneurs, bankers, scientists, and of course, mothers, fathers, siblings, partners, spouses, and grandparents. Ordinary people trying to lead ordinary lives. So my last slide, I'd just like you to look at the back of that dance floor where you will see two old people, and one of them is me, and the other one is Bernard, celebrating diversity. And that is always our message. We must celebrate diversity. This is not about tolerating people. It's about really being happy that our world is so diverse.
First question is going to be for Emma, and just wanted to get your own experience as a trans person, just whether you see it as being a blessing or a curse, and what you celebrate about being trans.
Yeah, I think it's a real blessing. I was scared, I was really lonely, and I was frightened. And now I feel I'm the person who I am. I feel so much more authentic. I'm not lying to myself and others. It is who I am. And I find real power in being that authentic person. And my confidence has gone through the roof. So to answer your question, absolutely a true blessing.
If we get the impression that we're at any kind of tipping point, there's a very real danger we'll take our foot off the accelerator. We've got to keep on and on and on, because if you look back at what's happened in race, disability, LGBT, the battle's not over, is it? We've got to go on and not think it's downhill from now on. It really isn't.
If you take away one thing from this event, learn. Go out there and learn. To be aware that not everyone is heterosexual, not everyone is cisgender, to use the term, and that there exists a spectrum as well. And that there's still a vast array of information out there that you can get into, that you can learn, and that there's always something new.
The most interesting thing I took away from tonight's event was just the sheer increase in numbers. of transgender people and people who are starting to identify as transgender or experiencing issues around gender identity. I think we've been used to thinking it's a very small issue, but I think it's one that is only going to grow, and it's something that we as organisations need to be able to deal with.
I would say the main takeaway of this event tonight is like it has made me somehow more sensitive about this topic, and it has made me realize that it's actually much closer than what I thought it was.
My biggest takeaway from tonight has been a lot of learning, a lot of knowledge, and there is a lot more resource. So it's about taking back to my business about the resources that are available and how we can use those resources as well.
The attitude that it's not actually that difficult. I think one of the speakers was saying it's just about treating people as people is quite an important attitude, and probably a quite helpful one as well.
People need to know that trans people, first of all, exist and are not how they're portrayed in the media. The media has had a bad time of relationships with trans people. We're the demons of the press, and it's events like this which just get out the message that we're just human beings, we're just normal everyday people.
I think getting much more airtime on this subject, really normalising it as part of our whole diversity and inclusion agenda. So we've of course got all of the baseline policies, etc., but really making that much more visible. And people like Emma, who are already employees, talking and bringing that out into the fore, again, I think it could really reinforce normalising this.
And actually taking back some emotion as well, because I think, especially with the film that was shown, and also people's sort of stories, Emma talking about her experiences as well, it's about actually how we can take those sort of stories, that sort of emotion, and address that within the business that I work within.
Well, one of the most powerful statistics that GIRES shared tonight was around the fact that 70% of trans individuals have been at the brunt of verbal and physical abuse before in the past. That figure is absolutely astounding, and we need to do everything that we can to create inclusive workplaces. So it's absolutely fantastic that Thomson Reuters has hosted an event like this tonight.
To know that there are now events like this where we're getting the word out, it's great, it's fantastic.